It's 2022. Thank you so much for checking out Critical Hit from Majorspoilers.com. So excited about a lot of the things that are coming to Major Spoilers in 2022. There's a lot on our plate this year, and we want to make sure that we are keeping you entertained throughout the next 52 weeks of this year. And let's hope that it turns out to be 2022 and not 2022. That being said, we would like your help. And I know you're sitting there going, Steven Schleicher, I know you've done over 15 years of Major Spoilers at this point. I've been enjoying the website. I've been enjoying all the podcasts. I've enjoyed everything that you guys have been doing for Critical Hit over the last 12 years. What can I do to help you? Well, there are a couple of things that you can do. Some of them are super, super easy, and many of you are already doing some of these things. The first thing that you can do is leave positive reviews for Critical Hit in all of your podcasting feeds, whether that be on Spotify. If you can do that on Spotify, I have no idea. Apple, podcasts, the YouTubes, wherever that we have our shows, Facebook, positive reviews there are very, very, very helpful. Second thing you can do is spread the good word via your social medias. Matthew Abbott, for example, plugged us today on Twitter. He was talking to somebody else. They were like, hey, what are some TTRP PG podcasts that you guys recommend? And Matthew stepped up and said, hey, I enjoy Critical Hit from Major Spoilers. Go check them out. Provide the link, all that good stuff. You can certainly follow us on Twitter. You can follow Major Spoilers. That's the main Major Spoilers feed. You can also follow our Critical Hit Twitter that we've had forever. It's just never really been used. It's Critical Hit _pod, Critical Hit _pod. And then, of course, we usually will mention a lot of the other people's Twitters every once in a while. Follow us there as well. And just spread the good word on social media. Tell your friends when you go to your gaming store that you enjoy Critical Hit, and make sure that they understand the difference between Critical Hit, which has been around a lot longer than that other show that people always get us confused for. So positive feedback, spreading the good word, those cost you absolutely nothing. But the way that we record the show and some of the other things that we're trying to do in 2022 for you do cost a little bit of money. So if you've enjoyed everything that we've been doing at Major Spoilers, or even if you just enjoy this podcast, I'm going to ask you, please, if you can, again, this is not a demand, but if you can, if you have the funds, if you have something as little as $5 per month, 60 bucks a year, if you have $5 a month that you could donate to us, we would really appreciate that. And you can do that by going to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Sign up for the silver level membership. That will get you access to a bunch of bonus content like the Major Spoilers podcast pre-show. I know that's not Critical Hit related, but for those of you that want to hear even more goofy talk from us, we've got that. That's an exclusive. We got the flashback podcast. We've got, character sheets specifically for the games that we're playing that you guys will want to get access to. You can get those at the silver level or higher over at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. At the higher levels, you can get original art, a yearly t-shirt, and so much more. So do me a favor, just take a moment right now, head over to patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Check out our tiers that we have and the rewards that you get for those tiers. I mean, it's more content. And then look at our goals that we have currently. We're less than $400 away from hiring a content manager who will come in and help organize a lot of this stuff, help with the social media stuff, and a whole lot more. That will be very, very useful as well. I'm going to be tweaking those a little bit more. Maybe we have an exclusive Critical Hit, another game running here on our Patreon page. I bet you would like that. In addition to what we're giving you right here, that all depends on you guys. So if you can, again, if you can't afford it, please don't dig into your pocket if you literally cannot afford it. But if you can spare $5 a month, then please, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, now for a little bit of bad news. And I'll mention this again for those of you who have already tuned out. This is going to be the last episode of Drifters for a while. Our GM, Kevin, has taken a new job that requires him to be out and away from the home for, almost 12 hours a day. And that's a lot when you're also trying to GM a game. It's a brand new job that he started. So he's kind of working through that right now. So for the foreseeable future, we've got a couple of other games that we're going to have coming up starting next week. Rodrigo is back as a GM starting next week. Then Brian is going to come in and GM a game that will be a lot of fun. And then Dr. Bradley Will is going to step in and be a GM for yet another game that I don't know if any of us have played. So I'm looking forward to that. So you've still got months of Critical Hit entertainment coming your way, but the Drifters game will return. It's just going to be probably a couple of months from now. If you have any questions about that, hit us up on our Discord server. We do have a Discord channel and a server, and you can come in and talk with all of us and with other listeners and fans of Major Spoilers. There are specific Critical Hit chat rooms that you can come in and talk about this episode, the one you're about to listen to right now. This one does end with a kind of a punch in the gut, so it's a good cliffhanger, trust me. There's also, again, if you're a patron member, secret channels that you get to access to talk about other things. You can find out more. Patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Thank you very much. Oh, don't forget to stick around to the very, very end of the show. The boy is back. We're doing that whole compilation. He's going to grow up before your ears in about a minute and 20 seconds. Going to make you feel old. Going to make you cry. Believe me, I do this every year, and it makes me cry every year. So stick around for that. Thank you so much for being a fan of Critical Hit, and let's all have a wonderful 2022. Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this time. Kevin, we won! Hooray for us!
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's very impressive, dear.
What?
Yes,
so good. So proud.
I hope this sends a message to all the other teams out there.
Well, look,
and that message is don't trust us because we'll probably shoot you.
Yes.
Oh, wait. What are you talking about?
On
It's that we're the best.
What happened last time?
On Critical Hit.
There was an explosion.
There was. You were in the redemption race to re-enter Drifters, and we'd gotten kind of far afield from your original mission as described by
Rain?
Not sponsor, patron Rain. And then it suddenly struck home as the crew of the new Team Rust Dragon were all obliterated in front of you, seemingly by the Squeaky Clean, as you won the race by killing them all mercilessly. There was a good deal of confusion and perhaps, some quick diagnostics and trying to figure out what happened. But then there is a whirlwind of activity that just batters the crew of the Squeaky Clean as a ton of things all happen at once. So first of all, Grace locks down her systems, and you guys can keep an eye on the Squeaky Clean throughout this whole process, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that. Like, someone is here, plus you've got Squeebo, plus you've got Herman. So you're fairly certain nobody gets access to the Squeaky Clean while this declaration of you guys as the winner, as a holographic cascade of flickering checkered flags pass over and all around the ship. Then there's the quick outro from the hosts. Then, of course, you are all invited to the mandatory celebration yacht, where drinks are foisted upon you and vids and pics are snapped, this time seemingly in even more clipped and artificial manner than your previous visit to the Victory vessel. People around you are smiling very forcefully and congratulating you using words like brutal, devastating, and heartless, all while trying to get you to promote their own individual product or personal brand or infotainment channel. So several hours pass by in a daze for all of you, but you do each get to tell me something about that happens or that you do or how you feel. Anything like that. Does anyone want to go first?
Sure.
Matthew, what happens to Quentin, or what does Quentin do? during this
Quentin,
quick blizzard of activity.
Quentin doesn't necessarily want anybody to notice it, but Quentin is very much disconcerted by the fact that there was a shooty that no one actually did. And Quentin is going to do that thing where he does his whole connect with the thing in the interweb and see if he knows a guy who knows a guy who knows something to try and figure out if there's anything.
Oh, you're trying to find, like, you're using your connections theme benefit, where it's like, if I don't know the answer, I can find somebody who does.
Right. Like accessing all of the feeds, all of the people who are out there going, yay, hooray, awesome, seeing if there are like any weird visual feeds or any type. If somebody picked up some weird background radiation, some guy sitting in a basement in, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, who happened to be running an oscilloscope at the time that strange, firing happened.
That sounds good. I actually, as soon as I go around the whole table once, I'm going to give you some reactions that some of them may have relevant information. Okay. So I'll get back to you as soon as I go through everybody. Okay.
We're still in Starship combat, so Matthew goes first, but he actually gets his information last.
Right, because I am a Starship.
Yeah. I got something.
Hecubino, go for it.
Hecubino is going to act as a social shield for anybody else who is not good at hiding their emotions. So he's basically going to very hardcore be playing defense if, they like go over to, I'm guessing Bob. Yeah, maybe Amu as well.
Amu's probably freaking the crap out because we just shot defenseless. Like, do no harm.
Right. So Amu, Hecubino is going to keep an eye on the ones that are not great at hiding their feelings, which I think is everyone except for Quentin and maybe Skritic. I don't know what Skritic's bluff is kicking around, but yeah, it's like if anybody corners somebody with a microphone and starts grilling them, like Hecubino's going to be there to
that definitely happens a couple of times. Once with Amu, once with Vangi. So what does Hecubino jump in and say when they're cornered and you have to give like a little quick?
It's probably different for everybody. Like if Bob gets cornered, Hecubino will like tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, Bob, somebody over there has like a ship specific question," and he'll just like step up and take over the interview. If it's Vangi, like he's going to take us back to the before times and talk about how it's been a long way to get here and basically get her talking about the good times. If it's Amu, I'll be like, those secretions are normal. Like I know this organism seems distressed, but this is just him like venting after the race and so on.
Nice. Okay. Any other volunteers?
Yeah, so playing off of what Rodrigo was talking about, the companies are coming up to us trying to get us to read these liners for their social medias. And you can tell Bob's really uncomfortable when he's like, I would kill for a Starjammer 1000. And he looks around and they're like, yes, say more. And then Bob's next line is something to the effect of, the Topaz 9000 kills the competition. You sure you guys want me to read this? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure that this is, are you paying us for this stuff? And then that's when Hecubino comes in and interrupts
and saves you.
Yeah, and saves me from these horrible catchphrases that they want us to say to promote their products because we slaughter the competition in this new sale that's coming. Bob doesn't want to read that.
Hecubino protects you from the jackals. So, Amu.
Amu, the initial reaction is completely freaking out. But after the fact, it's very apparent that Amu's distressed about the situation. Again, we shot on defenseless people who do no harm.
In what way is it apparent? Could you describe? So your version of a Recreachi is basically a coral colony. So, describe maybe your body language, or do you change colors, or do you release some sort of pheromone?
Colors are very, very muted, unless Amu is cornered and starts talking about it. The mimicry that Amu usually does of trying to look similar to everyone else is very poor. Like it at times it almost looks like Amu is falling apart.
He slides into the uncanny valley.
No, we don't even get to uncanny valley at this point. Like uncanny valley,
you're not looking humanoid, but a coral person. You're starting to just look like coral that's collapsing in itself.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And going through bleaching and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. Brutal. Vangi.
So yeah, I mean, as much as Hecubino tries to defend Vangi, I think she at some point has like a microphone shoved in her face and just like gets super angry and like lashes out. It's like, I can't believe you want to talk about this. Like they were, good people, and that basically winds up probably just like coming off as super intimidating and angry.
Yep, I could totally see that. I mean, the actual person who asked you looks very cowed, although you do when when your rant is over, you see that like there's a bunch of lights on you, and like everybody's pulling out like their data pads and taking video of you. And like lots of people are like, swiping the holographic controls that indicate that they're loading this onto the infosphere or live streaming it or something like that.
Yeah, she tries to basically just like give menacing looks to as many people as possible, and then I'm sure it creates like a vicious cycle where they're like, "Ooh, yeah, looks scary, Vangi."
How does that cycle end?
Hey, everybody, what you guys talking about?
Yeah, Hecubino comes to rescue. You can tell because you could see her tail twitching, and you could hear her loudly.
Yeah, as far as Hecubino's concerned, this is still like we're still in it.
Yep.
So he's still on.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
And last but not least, Skritic.
Yeah, I feel like Skritic's probably stepped up a lot more in the spotlight, largely just trying to make it a lot less focused on the other struggling team members. So he's, during press junkets and whatnot, he's definitely getting up there in front and being like, we blew away all the competition in this race, and we are not going to be taking any more prisoners going forward. We are going to win Drifters this season, and anyone that gets in our way better look out. And he's very much eager to do any of the commercials and whatnot, just to try to keep our commercial focus up. But I think behind the camera, he's a lot more reserved and quiet and cold and distant.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, you asked for it, and so you get it. Once you are the time kind of flies. None of you have a particularly good time on the celebration yacht, but you are eventually released from your little junket and can make your way safely back to you guys collapse in the central area. That's basically your galley, like where you eat, and often where you like talk to each other and come up with plans and stuff like that. So Quentin, I'm going to give this all as stuff you've found by doing your quick searches through the infosphere. There's just like a barrage of news and clips and reactions. So everyone's aware of this. We can say that Quentin found it. The last, and these basically come in roughly in chronological order, so you didn't really have time to react to them, options and stuff like that. We'll start with one of the reactions. A human woman with heavy black eye makeup, long black hair. She's wearing a shaggy gray hide armor coat. She's emphatically gesticulating at her camera and it says, Sheila reacts. How y'all doing? It's Sheila. Like and subscribe with your Drifters reaction. This episode was a little rough and tumble even for me. I know Drifters is a dog-eat-dog world, but talking about biting the hand that feeds you. 2 of Team Lizard Brain got their start on the crew of the old Rust Dragon, and now they blast them out of the sky without so much as a final send-off line. I guess they were wolves in sheep's clothing. That just has me hot under the collar. I'm so mad I could just... And she then transforms into a 9-foot-tall werewolf and demolishes her video recording set in her signature sign-off move.
Follow.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
The next one is a hulking 7-foot-tall digital imprint and tattoo-covered android, your friend Big 313, and he is wielding a massive double-headed axe. That is to say, bass guitar. He plays on it. Bum 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 bum. Hey everyone, thanks for coming into the chat. Giving you that big 313 reaction. I would say that episode ending was a bum 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 bummer. Tiny Twinkle, don't touch that. Then you see a roguish Yosoki girl with her face right next to the camera, one end of an Omni tool poking out of her cheek pouch, and she grabs the camera and says, "Tune into the Twinkle Tones to hear more. No one calls us that. Yes, they do." And the vid feed ends as they struggle.
Oh, he actually did adopt her and learn to play the guitar.
Next, you see a familiar floating brain man, which is to say contemplative, with his tiny dangling vestigial body. He's wearing a gigantic oversized helmet protruding with electrodes connecting to a variety of Magitech components in the background that Halcyon, the Sheeran that you've met before, is constantly fiddling with. The helmet is clearly loose and keeps wobbling around on Talos's head. Behold! It is I, Talos, your inimitable and inevitable overlord. I have seen too much fanfare for the so-called victory of Team Lizard Brain. But did they really win? Or was there a conspiracy at work, orchestrating the race's outcome on behalf of a secretive cabal? I've seen the ship diagnostics, and there's no way the Squeaky Clean fired the final torpedo. No, it was all actually part of a massive cover-up. Skizzle, Team Rust Dragon's supposedly goblin, Technomancer, was actually a robot that Hecubino triggered to explode. He and Vangie have been in the producer's pocket the whole time. Wake up, sheeple! I suggest you subscribe to my channel to learn more about why Team Brainpower is the only team fighting for truth. The truth about drifters. The truth about the real Pact World's government. The truth about inoculation slowly turning you into undead. What? What do you mean my mind control broadcast helmet isn't working? It's broadcasting my most embarrassing memories to everyone in chat. No, not the time I peed my spacesuit on my first spacewalk. Then Talos struggles to remove his helmet, but gets caught in the wires, knocking over vials of precariously balanced fluids, which catch on green fire when they spill over the jerry-rigged Infosphere streaming gear. Curse your fumbling incompetence, my Sheeran minion! And the stream cuts out. But the chat logs are pure gold, so you can screen grab them for later perusal.
Poor Talos.
You get a personal message direct to the Squeaky Clean from Absalom Station, specifically Second Vault Productions. Again, another familiar face smiles his broad smile with big teeth. It's Arts Director Eon Souljet here. I just want to reach out and offer my sincerest congratulations and you folks really showed a willingness to accept your ambition and look out for yourselves. and it's important to do that. Someone has to be number one, so why not you? Am I right? All right, some plumber technician just found 600,000 credits in the wall of the Golden Vault Sword or something. Honestly, rewards for doing your job. This generation of folks is growing so soft and sad. Guys, though, good work, Team Lizard Brain. And next up is a new Space Suds commercial. Clean. No one is safe from our spray. You have a mess that you need eradicated? Killer Clean will murder that mess. Worried about walking to your parked ship at night? Carry personal protection and Killer Clean them in the eyes. Face meltingly clean. You have blood on your hands from the death of workplace associates? Killer Clean will strip the skin from your bones, but cannot cleanse the memories from your mind, unless you inhale while using. Not recommended. Out, damn spot. Like Team Lizard Brain, Killer Clean will stop at nothing to win the ultimate prize, cleanliness.
That's
Next up is again someone. It's sunset on whatever world this person's on, and you see an anthropomorphic weasel man wearing a white tank top. It's got oil stains on it as he's on one of those stools that mechanics use. He's got a wrench and he's working on a classic fighter class starship, and he wheels himself out, has a rag and wipes the oil from his hands, and as the sun sets in the background, he goes, "Hey folks, it's Win Weasel. Redemption race? More like betrayal battle. We backed Team Lizard Brain when it seemed like they were like us, average, down on outsiders who formed a found family together. But now we can tell they're actually merciless corporate sellout teams. Now Red Iron and New Team Rust Dragon are gone. Racers who knew what drifters is real us to avenge them and stop Team Lizard Brain in the final race. They can't be champions, no matter how many credits they spend. One more time for family." And then as a separate private message to you guys from an anonymous account that you're pretty sure is Team Electrum's, it says, "Nice heel turn, but you need some war paint for your baby faces." And then lastly, this one definitely catches Quentin's eye, and he just basically immediately broadcasts it to the group. "Thanks for turning into XYZ, Absalom Station's only source for celebrity infotainment. In other Drifters-related news, former race champion and sole survivor of Team Renegade, Rain, was found dead in her Blue Rise flat this morning. Authorities say the apartment was in a state of extreme distress and prohibited substances were present at the scene. This represents a tragic end for a woman who once inspired millions. Rain's Team Renegade won the Drifters competition 3 times, including in its first season, and their team's celebrity helped propel the Infosphere Death Race competition reality show to intergalactic fame, spawning a commercial conglomerate under the brand company Infosphere Productions. The properties include 27 seasons of Drifters, 9 cinematic events, 6 spin-off shows, and a merchandise empire whose estimated value is in the hundreds of billions of credits. Following the heartbreaking loss of her crewmates, Rain mostly retired from public view, helming a restaurant chain named after her racing team. Associates claim that her mental health deteriorated in recent years, including periods of substance abuse and paranoid delusions. Rain, Drifters champion, restaurateur, and reality show celebrity, dead on Absalom Station, aged 51 rotations. If you or a loved one is experiencing issues of substance abuse or depression, the Church of Shellen is providing counseling services at no cost with no religious obligations."
Wow.
That is a lot.
So there you go.
We are in so
We having
much
fun
trouble.
yet?
We are all going to die. We're all going to die.
No, not necessarily. I'll tell you this. We shouldn't really make plans for next season. Because either you're right, Drifters is going to destroy us, or we're going to destroy Drifters. But I don't think I don't think both of us make it out the other end.
Oh, that's definitely true. I mean, this is when you volunteered us as heels, I thought we'd play it for fun, but this is Team Electrum is going to kill us, and people will cheer them for it.
Hmm.
And they'll probably kill us with stuff that's on our own ship already.
Well, clearly we really got to step that up.
We need
I know we
to
keep doing this, but I think everybody needs to take a rest. And then afterwards, we need to take the squeaky clean apart and figure out what happened.
Agreed.
Do I
have a chance to
clean right now?
Yes.
All right. Is Grace on?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is Grace active right now?
Yeah.
Grace,
I'm sorry, guys. Yes, Bob.
Can you tell us what happened? What caused the squeaky clean to fire on the rust dragon?
I'm not certain that we did fire.
You don't have anything in your records that shows the weapon discharge?
No.
Because it sure looks from the holovids like...
Well, we should actually talk to Talos. I mean, most of what he said in that broadcast was madness, but if he does have evidence that it wasn't us...
Well, even a stopped chronometer is right twice a day.
If nothing else, we should also talk to Talos' parents, because if they made us kill Team Rush Dragon, he's not safe. And he's a piece of work, but his teammates don't deserve what happened to them.
So, Grace, you're not showing any weapons fire from our ship?
Not at that time. I mean, obviously there was a lot of weapons fire before then, but
sure.
No.
But not... Okay.
You could manually inspect to see the if the last torpedo is still in the launcher.
Sure. We'll definitely do that. Can you send me your logs of the last 10 minutes of the race? Up to and including that final explosion? Thank you.
We'll also need any passive scans that may indicate a cloaked vessel or something possibly not visible.
I can make that data available to you.
Skritic, let's go down and check that last torpedo.
Let's do that.
Hecubino.
Yes.
Do you believe it's possible that Grace has somehow been compromised?
It's a possibility. We had work done on the ship. It's certainly possible that
at a place Extreme Infospheres sent us to.
Yeah. So, I mean, we literally had Grace upgraded. So, somebody, the people at the shop have been handling her processors. So, it's possible. I of course like the idea that we didn't fire and it was all some sort of timed illusion plus arson situation. That would be fine. But yes, at this point, I think we need to look at the fact that Grace might have been compromised. We need to look at the fact that some system might just have been compromised without Grace's knowledge.
Given that I was in the gunnery chair, we may need to examine the possibility that somehow I have been compromised.
Well, I certainly won't go into your brain without your permission, but if you want us to check, we'll check.
I think I'll begin with a diagnostic of the manual systems and see if there's any information that seems out of sorts.
Yeah, like I said, when you're ready, start chasing down whatever leads you have, and we'll get back together and figure it out. I'm going to go lay down for a bit.
I'm going to go punch something a lot.
Yeah.
So, is it Bob and Skritic that are going to go investigate the torpedo launcher?
Yes.
So, why don't you guys give me a computers check and an engineering check? One of you do one of you do the other.
Which one do you want to do, Skritic?
I think I'd rather do the engineering.
Okay, that's fine. My computers is a 24.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Sorry. Just getting to mine.
Probably needed a 25.
You rolled an 8, so
Yeah.
Could just take 10.
could have been better.
I'm going to see what the dice give me here.
Okay.
Should have taken 10. 22.
All right. So what you guys discover is that the ship is missing its final torpedo, but there are no logs in any of the computers of it, like the guidance system or anything like that would normally be executed by, say, like Quentin pulling the trigger. You can take some tests of the torpedo launcher, and it does look like the last torpedo was fired, but it doesn't look like it came from any orders from you. You might have to dismantle some things and see if there was some sort of override or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess we should do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can multitask, so I can go through Grace's logs.
Sounds good. So your exocortex is helping you go through, like, scan logs and do math and stuff like that, while you're physically down in the weapons bays with Skritic.
Yeah. Yep.
And Skritic, what are you doing? Just getting your paws dirty?
Yeah, just getting my paws dirty, taking apart every bit and seeing if there's anything that seems foreign, or otherwise that shouldn't be the way it is.
Okay. Hecubino, I'm going to go ahead and say you have a pounding headache.
That seems likely. I'll try and check if it's like just because of life, or if like there's an origin to it.
Yeah, you can kind of do some simple, mystic meditations, and get some control over it. You're usually pretty good about, taking on the stress of others, and you've been doing that a lot. But it's a little hard to diagnose yourself.
Sure.
But you are able to do some calming meditations and things like that.
Yeah, I'll go see Amu about it if it gets out of hand. But yeah, Hecubina's just gonna meditate, just try to take it easy, because it's like, even after all of that happened, he was really trying to keep everybody out of the fire. So he's like pretty much exhausted all of his he's just lost all his spoons.
Fair. Quentin, what are you doing?
Do you think I need a rest? I think I need a rest.
Power down, rest.
I'm gonna hover into my charger socket, rest, and run a level 3 diagnostic of secondary systems. See if any of the autonomic functions have been compromised.
Sounds good. Vangie, what's your form of rest take?
I mean, I think it's going to my little exercise area and pounding on something until I collapse.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
And then sleeping on the floor of the exercise room.
Pretty much.
Curled up next to one of the heating
Adorably.
Vents. Yep.
Looking like the world's biggest, scaliest kitty.
I guess Vesk probably don't sweat.
No, I assume they like pant.
What do you pant?
Yeah.
So curled up in a puddle of her own.
It's hard to tell once you start getting into like humanoid critters, right? It's like, well, this is how humans work. Like, but do humanoid lizards do the things that humans do? If the answer is no, then you have to come up with something.
Yeah, they probably pant.
Right.
Like, maybe they sweat out of like their like hands and feet or things like that, like as opposed to like all over.
Sure.
It's just when Vangie overheats, she like extends a giant frill.
That's pretty funny.
I like that.
Not canon necessarily for Vesk, but yeah.
I don't know. She's good with the cannon.
Amu, what do you do?
Amu is focusing on all the pets.
Oh, taking care of things that you know how to take care of, mostly.
Yeah. Sure, we've figured out how to handle everything that's on the ship at this point.
Are all the gremlins accounted for?
Probably.
After a while of digging through, you find some pretty simple devices that look like they were installed in the torpedo launcher that would allow, think of them as just a separate to a local dedicated like secure channel. So something would have to be pretty nearby to be able to trigger it. But somebody could have sent this a signal to fire your torpedo launcher with them programming it, basically.
Sabotage, Skritic.
Yep. So,
is there any way to find a return address on where it was transmitting to or anything like that?
It's done. It's already burnt itself out. You can derive its purpose pretty easily, but it's already once it was used, it looks like it also had a small self-destruct that doesn't like damage the ship or anything, but burns all its drives.
Sure. Now, does this look like something that was installed during the upgrade, or was this something that came with our ship?
It's hard to tell, but you thinking it through, they certainly would have had access during the upgrade.
Okay. What do you think, Skritic?
Well, we could try to stake some trees, back where this was upgraded and see if we can find anyone that can loosen the lips enough to see who would have ordered it.
That's our friends back at the is that the robot abolitionist movement?
Possibly. See if they can get any information.
All right, I'll make note of that.
So your ship was upgraded on Verces at the big shipyard there. Keep in mind, so that was like a professional,
upgrades. Okay. All right, so we can go back to Verces if we need to.
Go back to them.
Team co-captain.
They just so you know, it is that'd be like trying to go to, I don't know, Ford and shake them down. Not saying you can't do it, but
all right, I'll make note of it, and when Hecubino wakes up, we'll go talk to him about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people do some combination of relaxing, recuperating, venting, or working themselves to the bone to try to find a solution. And we like 8 or 9 hours.
In the meantime, have I or Skritic found any other devices on the ship, or just there in the torpedo bay?
So you can start. It'll take time to go through all of them. I did kind of fast forward how long disassembling the torpedo bay would take. That took hours.
Okay.
Especially because it's just the two of you, and you're doing it while flying and stuff like that. So you're doing it with small tools, which is totally manageable. But it's easier if you can be in a spaceport and have like a team working on it. But because it's just the two of you, you can knock these out, or you can like split up systems and be like, well, why don't you take the mazer and why don't I take the shields? And like you can divide tasks to start doing, manual extreme diagnostics. And like you see why Grace didn't have this in her logs, and Grace's logs all check out. It doesn't look like she was tampered with. This is just a separate system.
Okay. Yeah, we'll split up and do some of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But so we can say that the ship is in a state of, I don't want to say disrepair, but it's one of those things have to get worse before they get better.
Sure.
So as you guys come out of your chambers, you see, some of the hallways have been opened up because there's all sorts of vents and pipes and circuitry that connect one system to another that people have to go through. It's like, oh yeah, you wouldn't think that the main crew hallway, but it's got this routing panel, you see. So and then like there's dangling wires and tools left out. Skritic and Bob have not rested, it looks like.
Yeah.
And which means they haven't rested since the race.
Yeah.
Don't touch that pile. I'm still organizing that.
Bob's head pokes out from a pile of wires that used to be a wall. Oh, hello, Team Co-Captain Hecubino. And then I kind of wiggle my way out. Hopefully you had a good rest.
Well, I had a rest.
And I reach in my pocket and I pull out the device and toss it to him. We found this on the torpedoes. It looks like it was a device that received a signal and fired the torpedoes remotely. So from what I can tell, Grace is right. She has no record of anyone on the ship firing this because it was not fired from the ship.
I'll check it.
Yep.
Detect magic and stuff.
It's not magical. You think it's pretty much a technological device. There might be like the low level magics that are needed for it to survive in drift space. But that's about it.
Sure. Okay.
So as you can tell, we're just going through the rest of the ship looking for any other devices.
That's good. Have you guys taken a break?
No, not yet.
No.
All right. Well, finish whatever immediately you're doing and then take a break. Otherwise, you guys might overlook something. But this is good. This is a good... I mean, it's more than a good first step since it seems to be the culprit. But yeah, as soon as you guys can, take it easy.
Okay, will do. I'll wander off to my room and shut down for a while.
Okay. Is Amu around?
Amu would be in their lab.
Okay. I'll go check on them.
They are probably trying to teach gremlins something. Anything to avoid dealing with everything that's going on.
Hey, Amu, you want to talk about it?
Talk about what?
Talk about what happened at the end of the race?
Have we figured anything more out?
Bob found evidence of sabotage. Well, Bob and Skritic did.
So it wasn't any of us?
It doesn't look like it was any of us. But at some point, I know that Quentin was concerned that his systems might have been tampered with, so you might want to help him figure that out, since you're pretty good with computers, and also I since I can read their brains, I assume there's either some biological component or something that simulates biological components in androids. So, you might want to ask him if he still wants to do that.
It depends on the model, but we can speak with Quentin about his situation.
All right. Well, before you do that, I want you to get some rest, okay? I know that just stopping doing things is kind of letting the darkness in, but again, well, I say again, I told those other guys, it doesn't do us any good if you work yourself to the point where you're making bad decisions and are unable to perform the functions that we need you to perform. So I don't know what sort of cycle you're on, but make sure you some part of you guys gets the rest that is necessary.
We will.
Okay. I'll go go check on Vangie.
She's probably like woken up and is like just washed up.
Okay. So Bob and Skritic found evidence of sabotage. Was probably most likely put in while we were at Redshift.
Seems right.
So, it's a step. I don't think we're going to be able to track it with it, but at least we know what the source was. I told them to take a rest because they've been going nonstop since the race. But afterwards, when they get back to it, if you have a way of helping them or want to help them, I'm sure they could at least use somebody to hold heavy panels and things like that, depending on how involved you want to get.
I just don't know what our next steps are. I mean, Extreme must have put that there, and they know that it's not particularly subtle. That
and
they know that we know, and they're calling us out. What are we going to do about it?
Well, and without rain, it's hard to get any sort of sounding board.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, do you think it's Girth going to Absalom, seeing if we can find anything from like Rain's place to, maybe there was something that she left for us?
Yeah, definitely. We need to investigate that. So I guess I'll tell Bob to move us in that direction once he's up.
Yeah. We should look into that. Reach out to Talos, maybe Talos's parents, if Talos won't talk to us directly.
Yeah, I'll try to get a message out to Talos and see what he says.
This isn't how it was supposed to be.
No, but I guess the concern here is that it's business as usual. We just didn't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Presumably, this sort of thing has been going on for as long as Drifters has been a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll sort it out. It will probably be the process of that will probably be terrible, but we'll sort it out.
How do you say so optimistic?
Well, I have heavily compartmentalized my own brain. No, it's like, well, you and I have been through some bad stuff, and it's like, well, there's always someone to get up for, right? And it used to be just you, but now we have all these other rejects and weirdos to as part of our family of rejects and weirdos that we have to take care of now. So
we should tell them they can get out. We should tell them they should get out.
Can they, though? They might be in danger. They might be in more danger if they leave.
You're right. They might get picked off like Rain.
Yeah. All right. I will actually want to go talk to the Drift Corps, but after that, I'll call the Drift Corps.
You're going to talk to it?
Yeah.
You can talk to that?
Oh, yeah. I've done it before. I actually did it a couple times during that race.
Oh, that's cool. I had no idea. I was
it's
focused
like,
on blasting things.
Well, yeah, which is great. That was very helpful.
Thank
you. The Drift Corps is like a weird magical dual entity. All Drift Corps are actually.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that. I just didn't realize that you could like chat with it.
I mean, it's less chatting and more like
mystically attuning.
Yeah. It's like, more pictures and philosophy and emotions and things like that. And like I said, it's like kind of like partitioned off into like a plus and a minus. So you have to keep that in mind when talking to it or them.
Huh. Well, sounds cool.
Yeah, it's normally cool, but we'll see. We'll see what it says. It might not have had any involvement, but I just want to check. I think I'm actually probably the best suited to do a diagnostic on it, so that Bob and Skritic don't have to pick it apart.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk to Bob about getting us to Absalon Station, that's where Rain was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pilot while he gets some powers down or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we can get going. Yeah, if you want to just do that. And
that's a pretty easy ride.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. I will just leave a message for Quentin. Like I'll just send him a message that Amu's available if he wants help with a diagnostic.
All right, will do.
Okay. So I'll do that and then I'll head down to the core.
So you are at the core, and yeah, the dualistic, positive energy creation and negative energy destruction, and that event horizon where the two forces come into a matter-antimatter type near annihilation of each other, while simultaneously creating near boundless energy, is the ship's core.
Yeah. So I'll just sit down and Lotus position over by it and try to communicate with it.
Okay. Is there anything you're particularly trying to either learn from it or say?
Yeah, I want to see if it's been messed with in some way. Which I guess would kind of be like asking it if there are any impurities or if anyone's got a bit of an advantage, because presumably if it's been tampered with, if it's been tampered with to like generate data, like the generation side of things might be slightly winning. Or if it's been made to hide something, then maybe like the destruction side of things has been winning. So basically going in that direction.
Okay, why don't you give me a mysticism check?
Okay. Very low, 18.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
They're both convinced that they are severely either by exploding forth into boundless, limitless potential and life and light and energy and love and healing and growth, and just a limitless growth that inevitably will not just, it won't stop at the squeaky clean, it'll take over the whole universe.
Sure.
Or by contrast, it will open up a new black hole and devour the entire ship and everything around it and suck in light such that no one can see anything for millions of kilometers.
Right.
Yep.
Am I aware that I didn't do a great job at this?
I mean, yeah, you can sit and take some time and try to sort through it when you have a little bit more time and get a better feeling for them. Your gut reaction is that they kind of sound like themselves.
About where they're supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Might come around and do it again later, but that's I'm guessing this takes a while, so that's what Hecubina's doing for a while.
Okay. Cool. Is there any other like little side scenes or one-on-ones or things or questions people have, any particular skill checks people want to make individually, like before the group would get back together?
Vangi will make sure that everyone who didn't sleep is now sleeping.
Does everybody actually get rest, or does anybody not? Is anybody not able to sleep?
We are.
You can choose, unlike in real life.
You can choose for your character. Your character doesn't choose.
That's true. Yep.
Amu doesn't get rest.
Amu doesn't even try.
Well, Vangi will check on Amu, and so she like finds him playing with gremlins.
Probably, yeah.
They've actually learned several tricks, but all of the tricks are related to like pranks or destroying things. Yep.
Right.
Have you slept?
We sleep in cycles.
Have you slept this cycle?
Some of us.
We're going to need you to be sharp. Are you okay?
What is okay?
It's a really good question. I'm sorry. This really isn't what you signed on for.
We lost our newest friends.
Yeah. They're old friends of mine. And Hecubinos. I mean, it's one thing to, like, literally throw a wrench in their plans. It's, we were rivals. We weren't, it wasn't supposed to go that way. But, we're gonna punish the people who did this. We're gonna figure it out, or we're gonna die trying.
We'll find justice.
Yeah. Why did you come out here? I mean, there's gotta be plenty of other Rikrichi you could be friends with back home, right?
Oh, we wanted more.
You've got I guess a lot of good hearts. But, I'm sorry that you got hurt like this. And I'm sorry that you're in danger now.
We endure.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to endure. You should be able to live. You should be able to be happy.
The tide rolls in, rolls out. We endure.
That's kind of profound.
We'll
get some rest.
Rest.
Yeah.
You're a very good friend, Vengi.
So are you, Amu. Thank you. She'll close the door.
And so, carrying some combination of medical gear, cups of coffee, tools from digging around in the ship, maybe, weightlifting gloves. You're just of the squeaky clean gathers around the central table in the galley once more after getting what rest they can.
All right. So just so everybody's caught up, Skritic and Bob figured out that there was in fact sabotage. I assume Hecubino didn't keep the piece, probably handed it back to Bob. But so that is likely where it came from. Bob, you said that this was capable of receiving signals, right? So likely it was a signal that came in.
Yes, but I think it had to be fairly close to us.
It had to be somewhere close by. So yeah, that's something we can still do, is try to see if any of our sensors picked anything up. Since we were messing with the sensors a lot, we might get lucky and find a blip, so that's something else to do. As I'm sure you've all noticed, we are on course right now back to Absalon Station. We need to take a look at Rain's place. See if we can find anything there, or ask around and see if anybody knows anything. I think that because again, this thing's burnt out, right?
Yes.
So pursuing that right now is probably not our best bet. That seems to be the logical next step. Does anybody have anything else that they found out or figured out in the meantime?
I have a thought that I'll throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the recording that we had of the previous that we were investigating?
Yes.
And the duplicate that was on the ship that caused the sabotage on that ship?
Yeah, Team Elysium.
Yeah. Do we know if maybe everyone on Team Rust Dragon was on the level? I mean, I would find it hard for a ship to be cloaked in the middle of everything that was going on in that race. Did the signal come from Team Rust Dragon? Or someone on the Team Rust Dragon ship?
That would be something to find out if we pick that up from the sensors. We don't know if everybody there was on the up and up because the only one that we really knew was Red Iron. That Vangie and I knew. Everyone else, I don't remember if there was anybody else from the old crew off the top of my head, but a significant amount of the crew was new.
I'm not really familiar with the previous race where that ship crashed. Do you know what the reaction was, or what happened leading up to and after the destruction of that team?
I mean, people were sad. They were considered to be like, real contenders.
Yeah. There's a whole like cannibalistic 24 per cycle news stuff going on, but after a while the show moved on and everybody else moved on.
Yeah, there were some nice tributes.
How were the ratings before that accident, and how were the ratings after that accident?
That I'm not sure, but I'm sure Quentin.
It sounds like something
that.
Quentin could come up with.
Yeah.
Quentin's going to check the ratings.
All right.
How are the ratings?
People do seem to tune in around accidents, after big stories that travel the infosphere.
Yeah, the thing is, like, is it significant? Because there are accidents all the time on drifters.
Yeah.
But then we have to ask ourselves how many of those accidents are engineered as ours was.
Well, if all the accidents on drifters were engineered, then they have a lot of engineers.
So
the
you would need to.
Disaster did result in a spike in viewing numbers.
Yes, that is so. That Quentin, you can say that and be absolutely accurate. Then it occurs to you with your like cultural and data analysis and like your corporate agent background mode, you really do need to come up with like a system for this. You can kind of wing it and like
wing it
ish things, but if you want to categorize, okay,
I'm sorry.
Well, then your data. If you were to spend a little bit of time on it, basically, you could in the background be coming up with a basically a glorified spreadsheet and that does some high level data analysis on it that says like, okay, I found all of the violent events. I found all of the times that Drifters goes viral in the infosphere. I've like correlated advertising revenues and and things like that. So there's a lot of different variables and you have to, acquire the data. Now, fortunately, you're exactly the right person you have all of the connections to get access to this data. You have a bunch of it yourself. And especially if you're not overly picky about, issues like the law, whatever, the law is out. It's about where you get that information from, then you could certainly do that data analysis as kind of a background project. The short version is you are seeing
more
spikes.
In the pivot table.
Cool. You do see some spikes that make you think that it is possible that would show real connections.
It might be worth scanning some again, talking to Talos, he seems to be pretty big in the conspiracy sphere. But Rain couldn't be the only person who suspected something was amiss.
Yeah.
It will take some time to collate 27 seasons worth of data. But I believe I can complete it in...
If I might make a suggestion, you might look for, to kind of narrow that down, points where the show's ratings were starting to dip, significantly prior to a major accident compared to, just ratings staying steady and regular, quote unquote, regular accidents happening. I would look for big swings in the ratings, both low and high.
Also things involving Team Electrum, because we know that they are real on board with Extreme Infosphere and it's possible that, things happened when anyone seemed to be a legitimate threat to them.
All right.
And are we going to reach out to Talos?
Yeah, Hecubino said he would.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him. Anybody who wants to be involved in that conversation can be involved in that conversation, but I figured I would give you the option of not being in that conversation because it might be stressful.
I'm in.
Okay.
I prefer to be involved as I do not trust Talos any further than I could fire him from my act.
Okay.
We would like to be involved as well.
All right. Well, I'll start the call here in a bit. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'm keeping a running list, and so far I have go to Absalom Station to investigate Rain.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to talk to Talos directly.
Mm-hmm.
I heard talk to Talos's parents. I don't know what the reason for that was, but
because they've got resources. If Talos doesn't cooperate particularly well.
Yeah, let's talk to Talos first and see what we find, and if we find a reason to go over his head, I would be wary of involving his parents if we have without having something concrete, because if we go to them and we say, hey, this thing happened and it wasn't our fault and somebody else did it, and they spread that around, it could come back and bite us. Whereas if we literally say that to Talos and he repeats it, no one's going to actually believe him.
You're probably right.
So let's see first what he says, and then we'll talk to other people.
Sounds good.
And then there was also the data analysis project on Extreme Infosphere Productions ratings, like Drifters ratings and accents. And then I know that the repairs, the investigative repairs are still underway. So there's that. Was there anything else?
Do you have video of the repairs being made? Like, could we figure out who was that was actually handling our torpedoes?
I might. We could certainly look through that. I think it was the 3 people from Redshift that took point.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing to potentially look through. We also want to analyze the sensor data from the race to see if we can figure out where that came from. And if you have time, Amu, since you were primarily the one on sensors, you might want to take a look at that.
We can look into that.
Team co-captains.
Yes.
I know I'm kind of not really one of the crew, but
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, your assistance was extremely helpful.
Valuable. Yeah.
In the race.
Oh, thank you. If I could ask, now might be a good time. I think everybody has had a hard couple of days. Maybe you can give a team speech.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Well, guys, here we are, riding high on a victory that has inadvertently sold our souls to the worst possible thing of things. But this is simultaneously the worst place to be and also the best place to be. They have tried to take something from us, right? Our autonomy, our ability to make decisions for ourselves. I know that certainly resonates with some of you. I look at Bob. Certainly resonates with me, and I know with Vangie, because when you don't have any resources, you are tied to whoever has the resources. I think for a lot of us, this was a shot at freedom, whether economical freedom or actual freedom. And things have not necessarily gone the way they were supposed to. But it's taught us a great lesson, which is that things don't ever go the way they're supposed to. And that doesn't mean that things always go badly. It just means that plans have to change on the fly. And once again, we're changing the plan on the fly. That this happened to us means that we are onto something, right? It means that we disturbed enough rocks, or maybe we were just enough, like badass enough as drifters, that the powers that be decided to take their big, slimy, unseen hand and stick it up our backs. This, in a lot of ways, seems like a loss, but really, it's an opportunity. We're starting to see the moving parts behind this, and someday we will know enough about it to stick a wrench exactly where they don't want us to. What's going to happen after that? I don't know, but I'm too far in to wash my hands of it, and I think the rest of us are too. So again, take whatever time you need, and know that even if it's going into a computer terminal or digging into some wires or fixing up some sort of exobiological entity during our adventures, no matter what it is you're doing, we are going into war against a pretty formidable enemy. Just know that you're not alone in that. You have everybody else here. And the way that Amu's going, there's new crew members every 2 to 3 weeks. So we're only getting stronger. All right. Back to work, everyone.
All right.
I don't know if that was a good speech, but I'm just winging it here.
That was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
They're going to make us out to be the bad guys, but we're not.
Yeah.
Remember that. Team Electrum makes this whole big thing about being the underdogs and being a family. And that's actually, I think, what we really are. And that's why they're afraid of us.
Yeah. Which is good. They should be. If I wasn't one of us, I'd be terrified of us.
Yeah.
All right.
That was really nice.
Oh, thanks.
Go Team Lizard Brain!
Go Team Lizard Brain!
Thank you so much, everybody, for downloading and checking us out. We appreciate everyone who joins us over on our Discord server. It's free. What are you waiting for, people? Get over there, hang out with a bunch of people, talk about this most recent episode. You can share your thoughts, your theories, your conspiracies. Maybe even Telos will show up and prattle on some more. Who knows? Well, you will know once you get over to our Discord server and sign up and join. It's completely free. Link in the show notes. We'll see you next time. Until then, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
Major Spoilers Podcast, copyright 2009. Major Spoilers Podcast, copyright 2010.
Major Spoilers is copyright 2011. Major Spoilers is copyright 2012. Major Spoilers is copyright 2013. Major Spoilers is copyright 2014. This podcast is copyright 2015 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2016 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2017 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2018 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2019 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2020 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.
This podcast is copyright 2022 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.